labs and the applications, all that other good stuff. So this is Drunken Guan Dao. The Guan Dao form is very short. It includes most of the keywords of the weapon, not all of them, but we're going to go over the keywords before we do the form itself. So that's what this video is going to be about. So first thing, we're going to start off with the anatomy of the Guan Dao. This is a Guan Dao. There's lots of versions of this, right? There's the Tai Dao, which is basically just like a large Hu Dao style blade with the long handle. Not all of them have got the spearhead on the end. Doesn't matter. They pretty much all use the same way within, reason. So on our blade here, this is what we've got. As far as terminology, some of this terminology isn't even really used anymore, but why not tell it to you, right? Keep it alive. So the blade, I don't know if you can see my whole Guan Dao here. So the blade, the edge of the blade here is known as earth, because it always seems to be descending. This is the heaven side of the blade. The tip is called the sovereign. The hand guard is called the parent. The stick is called the master, big surprise, and the point is called the point. Awesome. So that was easy. So that's used generally for just terminology if somebody's teaching you, oh, I want you to cut this way in this direction. So they'll say, turn the master to the left, strike with earth. So it gets all flowery and strange. They're just trying to tell you which part of the blade to use. That's it. Sometimes too, techniques were hidden in poetry. So if somebody didn't want their, descendants to be able to just pick this up from somebody, you had to know the code. So if I wrote down the Guan Dao form and I said, oh, begin by striking with heaven, and then, blah, 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 it doesn't make any sense. What? You strike with heaven, what means, do a pick. It can pull up on the backside of the blade and then go for something. Simple as that. All right, so Chinese weapons are generally built on keywords. Each one of the keywords, in English translations, not even that good, the translations, these ones, but each one of the keywords demonstrates some particular thing about the weapon. And originally, weapon forms were fairly uncommon. It was generally taught to people just with keywords. So you'd learn your keywords, you'd learn each of the drills the keywords had to do with it. Then you'd start working with a partner, practicing the applications with somebody, and then that was it. You knew how to fight with that weapon. If you wanted to categorize all of your things into a form, that was up to you. In more modern times, within like the last 150 years, weapon forms have come more and more popular. The military had some. There's a good chance there's some really old Guan Dao forms because it's such an ancient weapon, military weapon. But I don't know. Our Drunken Guan Dao couldn't tell you exactly how old it is. It's what my master taught me, so what can I do? So, keywords. So the keyword, the way you hold Guan Dao, first of all, right up near the head, and then the second hand, anywhere that it needs to float. You don't want to be too far down on this end, or you're going to have very little control, and very easy to get your hand cut off if it's ahead, right? You're always going to try to keep your hands back, away from your opponent. I can keep them close to the blade due to the weight, because we're looking for where the balance point in the Guan Dao is, right? So balance point's about there. So I'm going to try to keep my hand up around the balance point so it's easy to wield, because these things are pretty bloody heavy to swing around. And I can be close to the blade because I've got the parent, the handguard, to keep me safe. All right, first keyword is hack. Keyword hack is just simply that. Anything that comes down with a cut is a hack. So it can be directly vertical, it can be going on horizontal types of things like this, not horizontal exactly, slanted. That would be a hack, okay? A little bit different than the broadsword. I'm just going to demonstrate. I'll go slower here. Some basic drills. So this is a hacking drill, okay? So I'm going to go on the other side, come over my head. This one would be meant to go down into the neck and into the body, okay? That's what those ones are for, okay? Hacking. Pretty simple. Okay, and then the next one we'll do, I guess we'll do slice. Slicing is a horizontal attack, so that's slicing. Notice when I do this stuff that I try to keep my blade, I try to keep earth forward, okay? That's what we're trying to do. We don't want to be kind of sloppy with our blades, like say when we're doing our slicing, which goes like this, and around over our head and back. I need to know whether or not I should have my blade here. Am I supposed to be cutting with this edge? Okay, now with a real Guan Dao, these back edges could be sharpened. They'd be used like a saw blade, used for hooking things. So in that case, doing this version is just fine. However, I have met other Go-Fu teachers that propose that the blade must always be forward, which means you turn it over on your way back and always follow it. You see what I'm doing there? Hopefully that's visible on the camera. Okay? So that's slice. Either way you cut it. Pun intended. So we've got hack coming down, and we've got slice coming across. Okay? Coming over the head and across. Slice. Grind. Not the best translation. It has to do with sharpening the blade, as though you were grinding it to an edge, okay? But what's really going on here is that the blade is on the ground. Hopefully you can see. The blade is on the ground, and I'm thrusting it forward like this, okay? This is used for people who you've missed. So say I'm hacking at somebody, I come down from above, and I totally miss it. Again, these are bloody heavy. Full power, very hard to stop. But on a battlefield, you might be able to just hit the floor with it, hit the ground, and if my opponent's still in front of me, I can just grind the sword at it. Just looking to stick this in his foot. You gotta remember this whole thing is edge, right? All the way up. So if this part is on the floor, this edge will be going directly at his feet, which is fantastic. Cut some toes off, he'll fall down. So that's grind. Okay. Usually the other hand is put up, going on traditional, right? Other hand is up. Because you might be totally screwed if you do this. If you make a mistake on this one's big trouble. In real combat, like when I was sparring with this, generally if you end up using grind, you've missed. The guy is coming around, say behind you, and you're going to change angle and grind at him. Okay? Don't think that this is linear. That, oh, I always come down and I always grind forward. No, no, no. That's just stupid. So that's grind. Obviously you're not sharpening the blade, you're dulling the blade. That's the way it is. Okay, stab. Stab is very simple. Stab, guys. Now it can be done in multiple ways. One of them is with a vertical blade like this. This one is used because it's hard to see. If I use a horizontal blade, if I do this, you can see in the camera that you get to see a lot going on as I stab towards your leg. This one is more difficult to see, but they're both useful. The back point can also be used for stab, this guy here. This is when you slide it past somebody, so say sliding it past their neck, and catching them in the throat with this guy, or in the leg, in the shoulder, or the knee, whatever, okay? That's my horizontal stab. So these can be used in conjunction with one another. I can do a vertical stab, this way, and miss. The guy dodges, you know, to my right. I flip the Guan Dao, and I have this nice hook that I might be able to catch a piece of him on the way by. Stab. Of course, the other end of the Guan Dao is also done stabbing because it's got a big spear point on it. So, traditional drill would be something like hack, stab, stab, hack, stab, stab, hack, stab, stab. Doesn't really matter. You can do vertical stabs, or you can do the flipping horizontal style stabs, okay? Either one is fine. Let's do that again. So I'm hacking down, stabbing through, there's a vertical, stabbing back, hacking down, stabbing through the horizontal, stabbing back, over and over and over. Okay? Okay. Hack, just occurred to me. Hack, one of the flowery names for it is heaven to earth, because you're coming from heaven down to the earth on the guy. And then there's, of course, the earth to heaven cut, which is the reverse of hack. Earth to heaven. Okay? Just an uppercut. Very simple. This gets into the swirls. We'll get there in a minute. That's earth to heaven. Okay? It's going to be done on either side. Earth to heaven. We'll get there in a sec. We'll do drag cut next. So drag cut is, I've made a big mistake. I've hacked. Boom! I hit the floor because, you know, heavy, he dodged. Something goes wrong with it. I don't have a good chance to grind, maybe he's too close to me, because how do you beat a weapon like this? You're really, really close to it. So he's rushing me, I start running away. So in a lot of traditional sets, you'll see it's 3 steps. That's just because it's 3 steps. You don't just run 3 steps, you run as far as you need to. So this is the drag cut, is I'm running away from the guy, and then, notice I'm cross-stepping here. from my cross step, spin with a hack. Okay? So, again, a nice little drill. I hack, I grind, I drag cut, take a couple steps, and I'm in the X stance and I spin for another hack. Okay, so let's do that again. I hack, I grind, I drag, I hack again. You can see how these can turn into forms really, really easily. Last one. Hack, grind, drag,